Coming straight from the land of the long white cloud, north, east, south, western bounds. Raise up, we're ring the crowds, we are now. Coming straight from the land of the long white cloud, north, east, south, western bounds. Raise up, we're ring the crowds, we are now.
Hello, welcome to Real Talk with Raise Up. Thank you for tuning in and joining us for episode 3. My name is Riley. I'm going to be your host. So to give you a bit of background on the series, Real Talk with Raise Up is a platform for young people to be able to discuss social issues through one-on-one interviews with organisations and local advocates from our communities. So today's podcast is pretty much just about connecting with young people and having conversations about our lives and what issues we feel need to be talked about. So I'm joined here with Shreya and Greer from our local Raise Up community. Hey guys, how you going?
Hey, I'm good.
Cool. So just before we get started, I think it would be cool if we could just introduce ourselves. So I want you to say your name, your crew, what high school you attend, why you joined Raise Up, and what your guilty pleasure is.
Hey guys, I'm Greer. I'm in the Massey crew. I go to Massey High School and I've been in the crew for about 6 months, and I joined because I thought it'd be such an awesome opportunity to meet new people and help the community. And my guilty pleasure is when I have cereal, I put the milk in first.
Controversial.
You're very controversial.
What about you, Greer?
Hey, I'm Shreya. I go to Linfield College and I'm a part of the Phuket Papa crew. I've been with Raise Up for about over a year now, and I thought it'd be a good way to be more involved with my community. A guilty pleasure that I have is I put salt in yogurt, but in my defense, salt goes with everything. So,
I mean,
Again, controversial.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll just introduce myself. My name is Riley. I am a Raise Up alumni. So I was in the Linfield crew last year. I graduated last year, but I'm back as a mentor this year. I joined Raise Up because I guess I just wanted to make a difference in my community. I also study at New Zealand School of Tourism. So I'm studying all things travel, which is pretty fun. My guilty pleasure. I guess the amount of Netflix I watch is very ridiculous.
Gilmore Girls specifically.
I binge watch Gilmore Girls to 2 a.m. in the morning, but we won't talk about that.
At least Netflix is a good platform. So.
Yeah. All right, so now that we've kind of introduced ourselves, I think we should get into the main segment of the episode, and that's our nitty-gritty questions. So I've got a list of questions that I'm going to ask you, and I guess we're just going to have a conversation about it. And yeah, let's just start with the first one. So the first question is, what are your ambitions or passions in life?
So I don't have any ambitions per se at the moment, but I'm passionate, and I always have been passionate for mental health and youth well-being. It's always been a tough sort of area of communication and all that with my friends and at school. So I just try my best to do whatever I can for that area. So that's basically my passion.
Cool. That's really great. It's great that you're involved in stuff like that. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
I think same with the ambition type of thing. I'm not really sure at the moment, but I guess as I grow up, I'll start developing more ambitions in life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any amazing passions like Greer does, but at the moment, I'm really into my dance.
Yeah.
So it's always like a place where I can like just be really happy and have heaps of fun. Yeah,
definitely. Dance is really great. Dance is like, when I watch dance, I just get so involved in it, and I get so amazed by it because of how, just, I don't know, dance is just pretty fascinating to me, like the different styles of it. It's just, yeah. And I guess my ambitions and passions are, it's quite a hard question to answer, right? Because of how, wide it can get, but
Yeah.
I guess I'm pretty passionate about people, like how people work. I'm just passionate about all things people, and obviously I'm very passionate about mental health and also like self identity. I'm very very passionate about those two areas. Ambitions. I don't know. I think I'm just quite an open-minded person, and so I don't really have one specific thing that I'm ambitious about. There's just lots of things that you know, I kind of, what's the right word for it? I can't explain the right word for it, but I'm just quite open-minded. So yeah, but when I have some ambitions, I'll let y'all know.
It's good to be a people person though, because
yeah,
people come to you and you enjoy mental health and all that. So that's awesome.
yeah. Cool. So the next question is, if you could relive anything in your childhood, what would it be?
Mine would probably be all the rugby games I went to with my granddad because we had such an amazing bond. Even though I hated rugby, it was just fun to be with him.
Yeah, for sure.
Fair enough. I say mine would be with my grandpa too. He lived in South Africa, and I think he passed away around in 2010. And when we went to South Africa, we visited him, and I remember this one moment. I put a bucket over his head. It's really funny for me at that time.
You
Yeah,
put a bucket
so
over your
moments of
granddad's head.
yeah, it was there. I don't know. Okay, my child mind.
Oh, well, it's great that you both have like really good relationships with grandparents, because grandparents can be such a huge impact on our lives. So, I guess for me, my childhood was weird. Like I was a weird little kid. I'm not even gonna lie. Like honestly, but I think if I could relive one thing, it would be my mum would like she well, I don't know if I, well, technically I relive it now. I'm still living in it, but it was like the most special thing was when my mum would be driving and she would play like music in the car, and me and her would just like, I'd be in the back seat, she'd be in the driver's seat, and we would just completely jam out to it. Like I was like 5 at the time, but I still knew all the words to her song, so we would just jam out together. And you know, she'd get beeped at by the other cars because she was driving crazy because she was so in the mood with the song. But yeah, just like little moments like that, I think is great. So, what is one thing that's super important to you and why?
Thing that's super important to me is my family. Anything I do is for them, or I try to do is for them. Um, and they're just like my number one supporters through everything.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say mine would probably be my family and like my mental health as well. Like try not to get too stressed out. If I do, just like take a break. My family's just like always there. So those would definitely be two things.
Yeah, cool. I guess, I guess I have two things. The first thing would be probably my faith. My faith is really important to me. It's just something that I've always kind of like looked at, and it's always been really important to me. And the second one, yeah, I would say my mom is one of the most important people to me. And yeah, just my friends really as well, because my friends have had such a big impact on my life. And it would be stupid to say that they wouldn't be in my top 3, because they're at my top, because they're just like, they're amazing, and they, really have influenced my life. Yeah. So the next question is a very interesting one. What is one word that describes you? Or describes you?
Most of my friends would say quirky. I have so many quirks, apparently.
Yeah.
But I'd say generous. I'm very generous in the community with my friends.
Yeah.
Try to be as generous as I can, just anywhere possible.
Well, that's really cool. That's really great.
Yeah.
What about you, Shreya?
Clumsy.
Clumsy. I think I can add to that for you.
I drop things a lot, more than I probably should. So I try. That's why I constantly have my phone in a flip case, because otherwise it would have a million cracks in it right now. So
Fair enough. One word that would describe me. I kind of probably, I think, similar to Greer's. Mine would be, I think I'm quite thoughtful,
Yeah.
like I like to do small, like, I think I always have the saying, like I always go by the saying, and it's just the thought that counts. And so I use that with everything that I do. So yeah, I think I'm quite thoughtful, but yeah, my
That's a
friends
really-
probably, my friends would probably say something else. So the next question is, how do you overcome challenges? That's a pretty deep one, but when you have like when you go through something quite tough in life, like how do you overcome that, or what's something that you do that will just help motivate you to keep pushing through?
Yeah, it is a hard one to answer, but I overcome any challenges if I get frustrated or anything like that. I calm myself down and overcome it with playing my ukulele, creating things out of my polymer clay that I have. Yeah, anything like that. Netflix sometimes.
Yeah.
Definitely Netflix. And then talking to friends and family.
Yeah,
It helps. Yeah.
really good. It's great that you're able to like reach out to other people as well, because I know that there are a lot of people out there that don't know how to do that. So it's really good that you're able to find people that really support you, and you're not afraid to tell them what's going on.
And especially if they go through same things sometimes. It's really good to connect with them.
Yeah,
it's really good to have like people that you can talk to about like things, because when you go through a rough patch in your life, bottling it all up, it doesn't help. It just kind of gets you more agitated in a way, and kind of more stressed out. So talking to people, or talking to anyone, someone you trust, or someone who works or like one of those places that help, like Youthline or something, that really helps.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
definitely. What about you, Shreya? How do you overcome challenges? Like, or what's something that you do?
I just like to distract myself a little bit, I guess. If it's stressing me out, just distracting myself, and then, as I said before, just talking to people, it helps.
Yeah, definitely. The way that I overcome challenges, I think it's quite hard to answer, because I think that we're all going to go through challenges like quite a lot. Like there will be some things that we continually, like, what am I saying? Continually. I wouldn't say the word, but like we always kind of go through, and sometimes it doesn't go away, but it's the way that we kind of calm ourselves down that that kind of stops for a little bit. Well, that's just me personally, like things like that. It doesn't go away, but I do things in order for it to kind of calm down and just kind of prevent it from happening. I guess the way that I would kind of overcome challenges is I would just talk to the one person in my life that I really, really trust, and the one person that like has always been there for me with everything, and also the person that I feel will give me advice that like I will be able to take. I guess just reaching out to someone and letting it all out to them, and even if they don't give me the advice that I was hoping for, just them being able to like take that in and like just support me and comfort me. That's really all that matters to me. And sometimes I think a lot of the time it's quite hard, because maybe sometimes there won't be someone there, and I think during that time that could be really, really difficult. But yeah, I think a lot of people think that because someone's physically not there, they're always not going to be there. But I think there's so many different support systems that you can go to, like online, and there could always be like for example, our Raise Up coordinators, if we're going through something and our friends aren't there most of the time, or maybe our family can't be there at that exact time, they're always there for us no matter what. So yeah, I think there's always a person that's there for us.
Definitely.
And so the next question is, what issues do you think young people deal with the most? So there's probably a lot. It's quite a big, definitely quite a lot. There's a big spectrum for that. But what do you think are the most like populated ones, or the most like I would say top 2 or top 3.
Yeah. It depends on how you look at it. Like I say, because I love mental, like I'm into that spectrum of mental well-being and all that. My top 2 would be the mental well-being and the housing, like the financial problems and all that with youth nowadays, especially after this COVID thing. During this COVID load thing going on, it's a lot riding on youth, as some have had to drop out of school to help their parents pay for bills. It's affecting their mental well-being and financial state.
100%. Yeah, that's really, it's quite sad to hear though, that some people have had to give up the education just to be able to support their family. That's really, really tough.
Yeah.
What about you, Shreya?
I would say body image is a big one. I feel a lot of people don't feel comfortable with themselves, with who they are in their own body, and I guess it's kind of tough to do. Like, if you originally don't feel comfortable in your own skin, it can take a long time to eventually feel comfortable and feel like you are enough.
Yeah.
I think it has a really big impact on people's mental health. And it can really impact your life in a negative way if it's like something that you struggle with a lot.
Yeah,
Definitely.
body image is definitely, it's a very very big one for teenagers nowadays. You know, because there's all these expectations and all these images that get put out online.
Yeah, social media especially doesn't help.
Yeah, they, you know, all these expectations get put out online for us, when in reality, you know, most of them aren't possible to meet, because, you know, that's the beauty of Photoshop. They make things look really realistic, when, you know, it's just not real. Some of the stuff that we see online isn't real. So body image is definitely, I mean, me personally, I haven't struggled with it, because I just never personally have struggled like to that extent. I mean, I have had thoughts about it, but not, you know, to the point where it's kind of taken over everything that I do. But it makes me really sad that there are people out there that where that happens. But yeah, that's really tough. I think me personally, what issues? I think for me it would be toxic relationships is one that I am very passionate about, and it's something that I really wish, you know, would be communicated more about. Gender and sexuality is also something that I'm very passionate about, and it's something that I advocate for. And yeah, I think also just mental health in general, everything about it. It's just I think it's just so, it's crazy how high the the negative mental health rates, like unhealthy mental health rates, have gone up since like a couple of years ago. There's been such a massive increase, and yeah, it's just, I just really wish that, you know, we'll get communicated more about, you know, because it's just,
it's such a horrible thing for people to go through.
Yeah, it honestly is. Like, it's just crazy how much, you know, when you have negative mental health and you're in an unsafe or unhealthy mind space, how much it can take.
Definitely.
Yeah. What's the next question? Okay, so the next question is, what does a healthy relationship look like to you? This can be relationships with your family, with your friends, you know, romantic partners, just whatever your views are.
Well, like you said, it comes in many different shapes and sizes. A healthy relationship, but a healthy relationship, all up, is one where you're free to do what you want without being backed down by those that are in the relationship, whether that's family, friends, romantic. You don't feel pressured to do anything. You have the right to speak all the time because it's your voice.
For sure.
It's a youth voice, and I'm all for that. That's the biggest thing that I can say.
Definitely. What about you, Shreya? What do you think?
I would say trusting the other person is a big thing. I feel like with your family and friends, sometimes need to rely on them to do certain things. Even in like a romantic relationship, you need to be able to trust the person. And communication, like communicating well with them, not lying, being able to talk things out. Because I feel like without those things, it can get really hard to actually have a relationship with people.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah, I would say it's like kind of both of what you said, trust, respect, and communication. Like those are the three big things for me in my relationships. I just think, I think trust is such a big thing. And if you don't, if you have like a lot of the time with, romantic relationships and even family relationships, when sometimes the trust isn't there, it can really affect the way that people and it can really affect a person to how they interact with new people that they meet. They can, if they don't trust themselves and they don't trust other people, that can really affect the way that they go about life. And it can really affect the choices that they make for themselves. So yeah, I think trust is super, super important.
Definitely.
So the next question is, have you experienced significant change? If so, how did you adapt to it?
Yeah, I have quite a few times where I just did. You learn to adapt to new things pretty quickly, and I guess that's what the teachers at school and people around you are trying to teach you, that you've just got to adapt like lightning speed, because you don't know when something's going to change right in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
One big significant thing that I've had to adapt to is this COVID situation. I mean, everyone's had to adapt to it. The social distancing, the sanitizing every time you walk into a room,
Yeah.
the grouping sizes and all that. It's been such a big thing to deal with, and you just learn to adapt to it. It's probably going to be our new way of living for quite some time until we know it's definitely gone.
Yeah, definitely. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I think we all got a bit of a shock with how many restrictions there were.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts, Drea?
A change, I would say going from like intermediate to high school, that was a really big change, a completely different like system and how it works in intermediate and primary, and then going into high school. I feel like that was really scary because the teachers, honestly, they scared me when they were talking about what it was like in high school and how strict they were. They honestly scared me a lot.
Yeah.
But I would say I got through it. I guess I adapted. I helped. My friends were there to help me. Having them there was actually really great because I had other people there with me going through it at the same time. And then I guess also this whole COVID-19 thing, I feel like everyone is in the same boat. And we're really lucky, I guess, here in New Zealand because it's a small country and it's a lot easier to control, I guess. Whereas everywhere else, it's still really bad with the whole COVID thing.
Yeah, sure. I think, going from intermediate and high school is it's pretty big shock, isn't it? Like, one minute you're in this like really kind of not so much innocent, but you're in this you're in this one environment, and then all of a sudden you get put into a massive other environment that has so many different things and so many things that you don't know, and it's like, whoa, calm down.
I think I got like lost like 3 times on my first day.
Yeah, it's definitely very difficult for the first stages of high school. When you're in year 9, it can be quite scary being like the babies and being like the little ones.
The little fish in the big pond.
Yeah, exactly. But then you kind of like, when you move year up to year, you get more comfortable, and you kind of know the environment and all that. So yeah, you'll get there, Shreya. I believe in you.
You got this.
Definitely. Significant change. Well, I have definitely had very significant change within myself, actually. So it's not much to do with my environment, but I had a very, very big change in myself. So it was very, very difficult to kind of I was in denial of it for quite a while. You know how you go through a change and then you kind of like kind of deny it for a little bit just to kind of make it feel not real, but then all of a sudden it is, and you're like, whoa.
Where did you come from?
Where did you come from? But yeah, so I definitely had a very big change within myself, and I was in denial about it for a while. It took me a very, very long time to fully be comfortable with that change, and to fully adapt to it. But I think how did I adapt to it? I just like surrounded myself with good people, because they really like supported me, and they were like, yeah, this change is big, but hey, you're gonna get through it. And also I just had to sit there and be like, okay, Riley, this is your new normal now. This is who you are. This is what your life is going to look like. You just need to, get through it. I just had to be very, very blunt with myself and, not deny it. But yeah, man, change is quite big nowadays. There are so many changes that happened. Yeah, honestly, so many changes, but I think New Zealand's quite strong just in general, especially with COVID.
There's the worldwide changes.
Yeah, worldwide changes 100%. But yeah, I mean, we have Auntie Cindy. We have Auntie
Cindy.
We have Auntie Cindy and Uncle Bloomfield.
Okay, so the next question is, what does support look like to you?
Oh, well, that's a big one, because support can look like anything, really.
Yeah.
Whether it's cuddling a teddy at night, that's But I think the biggest support is those who are there for you, no matter what, through thick and thin. If they can support you through anything, you can support them through anything. They're the ones that are really there for you. Yeah, your number one supporters.
Yeah, for sure, your biggest fans.
Yeah,
just I guess like supporting people and cheering them on. Like, when you go to a sports game, everyone's cheering on their own team, motivating them to get through it, to keep going, I guess. So it's kind of just like that with people's personal problems and sports. I guess it's pretty similar when it comes to supporting people.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Support looks like to me, I think when it comes to support for me, it's always like, I think since the way that I've been grown up is that actions speak louder than words. So usually when someone kind of like says something to me, I do take it in and I appreciate it, but I would like to see someone like actually do something, like actually kind of do an action in order for me to feel supported. So whether that's just, the hand on the shoulder, or like whether that's just like, okay, I can take you to counseling or whatever, like those are, I think actions speak a lot louder than words for me. But yeah, even like verbal support is really good as well, like people that give you pep talks, and people that like just put in an effort to make you feel supported by saying really nice things to you. I think that's really great.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so the next question definitely is one that we will probably have to think about, because it's very, very blunt, and there's no like three answers. It's got to be one answer.
But, oh God!
If you could change one thing in this world, what would it be?
There's so many.
How dare you?
I'm sorry.
If you were very, 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 very powerful, you'd be able to change the world by yourself. But you need more than one person to change the world. Yeah. So it'd be, if I could change one thing in this world, I would change the way people act.
Definitely.
And hopefully that makes us come together, as we've had horrible things happen this week all over the world, spread across the whole world. Yeah. If the world could just come together, that would change the world already. That's already 1% that's changed. There's 99% more to go.
Definitely. 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
What about you, Shreya? What's your answer?
There's so many things, like the list does not end.
Yeah.
But probably kindness, I guess. If people were just a bit more kinder to each other, had more sympathy for each other, just I feel like just a little bit of kindness can go a long way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess mine's quite similar to the both of you. I think I'm just gonna have to steal Greer's one, like just the way. I think just the way that people treat each other in general. Like, if we had this kind of big positive world, then it would be a lot happier, and the world would be such a nice place
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think-
obviously, like, we can't be super kind to each other all the time, but, you know, the way that the world's at the moment, definitely we need to start treating each other with a lot more kindness and a lot more, like, empathy, and just a lot more understanding. So,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
definitely the way that we treat
Something I heard growing up a lot, like from pretty much, I think every teacher I've had has told me, like, treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something that I think almost everyone has been told.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And it does, I think with that saying, it's really, really sad that it kind of goes in one ear and then out the other.
Yeah.
But it's so true. Like, you know, if you want to be treated like, if you want to be treated like everyone loves you and everyone respects you, then you need to treat them the same way, you know? Like, you got to meet each other halfway. You can't just be mean to that person and expect them to not.
It's not going to be handed to you on a silver platter.
You know what I mean? Like, you just
Yeah.
got to meet each other halfway, and that's just be kind to each other. And then, hello, friendship, and cool, kindness, great. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, so the last question is, how has Raise Up influenced your life today? So, or if I rephrase that question, it would be like, how has Raise Up kind of influenced the way that you are today, like who you are today?
I haven't been with Rose Up for very long, but
Mm.
there's still way more for me to find out. Have
Yeah.
my first Raise Up camp this year, hopefully. That sort of stuff.
It's coming in
Me
October.
too.
But it's made me realize that there's just more to New Zealand than school, home, mall, shopping centre, businesses. There's a whole other community out there of just youth who feel the same way about everything and want to just be the change for our next generation, because we are the next generation. It's our world we're creating.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's really, really like heart-spoken answer, Gria. I was like, what about you, Shreya?
I have met some really cool people through Raise Up. Some really fun, really bubbly people. We've done some really fun events, and it's kind of taught me to step out of my comfort zone a little bit more. I guess just talk to people, be more out there, I guess. Yeah, and I guess before Raise Up, I had seen like young people be involved in the community and do things to help others, but I'd never really seen it like up front. Like, you'd always just see people show up to these events and be promoting something, but to actually be kind of behind the scenes of it and in the midst of it, it's really cool, and it kind of gives you a different view on how you look at things.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's good. Like, I think it's good that we have, like, Greer, like, even though you've only been in Raise Up for 6 months, like, 6 months is quite a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a lot of growth can happen within a week, let alone 6 months.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely, you're a smart cookie, you're a smart girl, and you're like, yeah, I can see a lot of potential in you. Yeah, Shreya, I remember when you first came to Raise Up, that was so much fun. Like, I remember meeting you, and you were, like, so quiet, and now, like, look at you, you're like,
Not like me.
yeah, you're like, you know, you're, like, so bubbly.
I just joined Raise Up with bubbly energy on my first day. Neve was one of the leaders last year, so I was like, I'm a part of Raise Up now, and she's like, what?
Yeah.
Because she wasn't there to get my my interview, but it was just really awesome to be welcomed with open arms and all that. So.
Yeah, for sure. Oh,
Yeah, that's one thing about Raise Up. It's so, like, the people are so welcoming and kind. You, like, feel welcomed, and you feel like, I don't know, kind of at home in a way.
Yeah.
we're like this one big happy family, you know? Like there's no drama. We're just this one big happy little family, and I love it. So my next one is oh wait, no, never mind. I'm answering this question. How does Raise Up influence my life today? This is quite a big thing for me because I've definitely come a long way since when I first started Raise Up. I was like very, very timid, you know, I was pretty scared all the time about like opening up to people and like, you know, making change and stuff, because I was always thinking about what other people would say about it. And so I would never do anything because then I was just so scared about what other people would say. But Raise Up definitely taught me to like just come out of my shell, like be myself, you know. And if people don't like it, they don't like it. But hey, you know, I still think that I'm great. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they gave me that attitude, and they really kind of helped me improve my self-confidence, helped me improve kind of my self-worth about myself as well. And I just meet so many amazing people on a daily basis. Like, you know, I met Shreya, and I met our crew, and like everyone there I've become really close friends with. And I meet like Greer, you know, from Massey. I meet lots and lots of people from different communities, which is really, really great. And also the coordinators are just legend.
Yes.
Like literally absolutely.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. They put up with us. It's great. All right. Well, I guess that kind of concludes our little podcast here. Oh, it's kind of sad. I like talking to you guys. So make sure you tune in next week for our next episode of Real Talk with Raise Up. It's going to be a pretty fun one, so we'll keep you updated on what that will be. Thank you, Greer and Shreya, for coming along. Thank you for joining us. It's very, very great to have your guys' opinions out there. And yeah, Raise Up is very, very lucky to have yous.
Thank you, Riley.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. So if you guys are interested in joining Raise Up, feel free to follow the Raise Up NZ Instagram page, and that will lead you to our website, and you'll be able to apply for Raise Up through that. But also, if you just want to follow along and just see what we're getting up to, that's cool too. So we have our Instagram and we have our Facebook on the top left corner of my face. Yeah, so feel free to click this little top thing up here. And yeah, we're super excited to you know, keep up with this podcast. Leave a comment, leave a like, you know, give us some love. Yeah, so thank you guys for coming along, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.
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 Coming straight from the land of the long white cloud, northeast, southwestern bounds. Raise up, we're ring the crowds. We are now. Coming straight from the land of the long white cloud, northeast, southwestern bounds. Raise up, we're ring the crowds. We are now.